If you didn't manage to get to the Glamping Show this year, don't worry, I've got your back. We had so much fun this year. It was stacked full of vital information during the conference. We had experts galore. There were DJs on the roof of cabins. There was music, drinking, mixing, networking. We had such a fantastic time. We also got the chance to tour the site and look at all the amazing structures and some of the new concepts that are really incredible. I'm talking 3D printed cabins, tents of every shape and size and colour, and all kinds of amazing things, including beautiful assets and ways to arrange the interior of your units so that they stand out from the crowd. There were mirrored cabins, glamping wagons, and everything else in between. And during my walk around the site, I was able to speak to many experts who gave me the inside line and what they thought of the glamping industry and where it's going at the moment. This really is the place to stay on top of the trends and what's working in the industry. I also spoke with many hosts and owners about what they believe helps increase the likelihood of success for a new business in this industry. So I'm going to be covering some of that and more today. So if you're interested in the unique marketplace of glamping and luxury outdoor hospitality, this is the place for you. Welcome to the Glamping Americas podcast, the place for inspiration about the business of upscale camping, glamping, and luxury outdoor guest accommodations. I'm Sarah Riley from the Glamping Academy, and I'm working with my friends at the Glamping Show Americas to share everything you need to know about new trends, events, business models, and investment potential in the rapidly growing world of luxury camping that delivers an experience. Interest in this industry is exploding, so if you want to be the first to find out what's hot and what's not, subscribe here and check out the show notes for more exciting news and links. And be sure to add the next Glamping Show Americas to your calendar for the 30th of September to the 1st of October 2025 near Denver, Colorado. I can't wait. With the annual Glamping Show Americas behind us, we have been taking some time to catch up with all the opportunities resulting from the show. For me, it was the industry insights and business learning, as well as the conversations and the new networks that I've been growing, and all the opportunities generated by that. It really has been an epic year. Seriously. I saw friendly faces of people I haven't seen all year and made new friends that I hope to catch up with again next year. In the meantime, we'll be working together remotely, which really makes the world seem so much smaller than ever. Seriously, what did we do before the internet? So the luxury camping marketplace is proving itself to be in an extraordinary period of growth, shown by the increasing market cap, the state of the industry reports which were shared at the show, and the increasing number of people wanting to visit the show. So this year there were verified trade attendees up by an incredible 12% from the previous year, which is really significant in this kind of industry. You could say there's fruit ripe for the picking, and that's certainly what we saw during the 3-day event this year. So from the Glamping Business Basics, the pre-workshops hosted by the AGA, to the 2-day industry conference with advanced topics helping take new owners that one step further towards their success. This year, we explored everything. Finding investment for new luxury camping projects, diversifying existing trailer parks and systems to include a glamping element, generating bookings and profits, and learning how to streamline operations while saving staff time and money using AI. This is a particular priority for me because I believe so many people are missing out on this opportunity because there are so many things going on in AI and people don't realize they can apply it to their own businesses in hospitality. And I have lots of plans about how I can incorporate this into next year's show, but more about that soon. We also hung out in the sun and enjoyed the hospitality of the show's organisers and sponsors, listening to DJs from the rooftops of a mirrored cabin while eating and drinking with new friends as we swapped stories of the day's events and what we'd all been learning. And one of those stories was how the Glamping Show Americas has new owners. Yes, it is with sadness we say farewell to David and Sally, who have grown it to be the incredible show that it is, and we welcome Jessica and Lindsay from Emerald X, who have been passed the baton and intend to take it to the next level. So if you have anything at all to do with the glamping industry, then you will realise just how exciting this is, and I have all the juicy details for you in this episode. So buckle up, we're about to dive into the increasingly exciting world of glamping in the Americas.
I've been here now 4 years. I think there's probably 1,000 people, and I come from events background, concerts, so I can see like production's gotten better, there's more speakers, there's more staff. It seems like everyone's on top of it. I think there's a want for outdoor accommodation, hospitality. I think when I first was getting into glamping in 2019, I don't even know if we were at $1 billion in market cap. So for 4 years, I think we've passed now $4 billion. So I'm seeing a lot more opportunity for people to open campsites and glamp sites. My biggest challenge is always convincing my partners that glamping is continue to grow and a reliable business for our site. So a lot of my goals here is to gather as much information as I can. What our vision is more, we want concerts and festivals to have a harmonious relationship with glamping. So when I started, it was concert focused, build a venue, and then wait a second, COVID hit. We need a lodging component. People want to be outdoor. They still want to go to the experience. They still want to, be with their friends and family. But how can we help with that? And that was how I got into glamping. So I think having the music component, the venue component, gives people like that demand built in. That why am I going? Besides wanting to be outside in nature, but also get to go see a concert or a comedy show too.
The experience of glamping and the experience of music and festivals, they go together like jam and cream and peanut butter and jam. I think it's a perfect mix, and because it's experiential as well. So is that really what drew you to the industry, first of all?
I went to like overnight sleepaway camp for about 10 years. I still go for alumni weekends. So I've been going to camp for around 18 years, but I am not someone who was going to be in a tent. I am a cabin. I need a bed. And so I've always had this camping niche that when I started hearing about glamping, I said, luxury camping, cabins, concerts, this works for me. So I feel like this is the right place for me.
That was Justin Schoeneman from Kinsfield, who has been coming to the show every year since it launched, and as you heard, uses it to manage his biggest challenges and keep up with the rapid developments in the industry. So this year, it was noticeable how many people have chosen to come to the show year after year to keep on top of those big challenges and the big changes happening in the luxury camping industry.
This is Leslie Martin. I'm with Lagome Retreat in Dripping Springs, Texas, and this is my second year at the Glamping Show. Last year was a great introduction to the industry, the available vendors and partners in the whole business. Because I was so new, it was pretty overwhelming, and so I only took in some of the information that I needed to move ahead. And so this year I'm able to dive in a little bit deeper in some areas that I didn't get to touch on or had not made contact with throughout the year since the last show. So this is giving me a chance to really dive into more of the operational pieces. And then of course the group sessions, the topics are slightly different than last year. And so I've been able to take that a step further as well in my planning. All of it collectively between last year and this year in the year time span is getting me closer to my opening day and really building out the full vision for what we have for Lagome. So Lagome is a Nordic-inspired, very specifically Swedish-inspired retreat. We will have 17 to 20 cabins to start, an event space, lots of outdoor amenities, a recreational pond, and our target audience are couples and families for the most part But we also want to really lean into group events. And so we'll focus a lot on providing the right amenities and accommodations for larger groups, whether it's corporate groups, weddings, retreats. Dripping Springs is considered the gateway to the hill country in Texas. It's also the wedding capital of Texas. We have hundreds of distilleries, wineries, breweries, some great food concepts in the area, and really unique shopping. And so from our destination, you can go 15 miles in any direction and hit another small town that has any and all of those amenities. We're also right next to Pedernales State Park, beautiful park. You can hike through, camp at. We're near multiple watering holes, a Hamilton Pool. We're near Reimer's Ranch, so you've got a lot of stargazing. It's also a dark sky community. So, the stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas and Dripping Springs.
And speaking with Ruben Martinez from the American Glamping Association, this is what he told me was the best part of this year's event.
I think what I enjoy this year is what I enjoy typically every year, is just meeting people that we've connected with over, the past year online or an email, and meeting them in person and catching up and seeing where they're at in their process, the progress that they've made. And there's just a vibrant community that's here that it's not that it doesn't exist online, but in person, it's just something else, and it's just something different. And so really it's the people. There's nothing wrong with, love the products, love the services, love the units, and there's no glamping without that. But the people really make it happen, and how genuine and how authentic people are, how hardworking, inspiring. It's just great to connect with people in person. So it's definitely my favorite part of the year. Tiring, but 100% my favorite part of the year.
And will you be here next year?
I'll be here next year. At
the show this year, a lot of people talked about the State of the Industry report. Have you seen it? It shows how glamping is now solidly placed in the habits and mindsets of leisure travelers, which means that hospitality guests want more comforts when they experience the outdoors. And this is going to continue to grow as activities like glamping and luxury outdoor hospitality becomes a stronger guest expectation. That is really key. The more the guests expect, the more they want, and the more you will need to provide. So it's really important that you understand where the industry is going. And that's what this report helps you to understand. So the report is shared at the show, and it gives a glimpse into the current and projected expenses, some operational plans, amenities desired by the glamping guest, as well as challenges for new businesses. So for anyone wanting to enter this marketplace, you will by now be experiencing the difficulties of gathering great data to inform your planning and investment decisions. This is where this report really shines, as it gives show attendees really strong feedback, lots of research and real-time information about what's working out there in the real world. This is what Scott Barr from Kahn Consulting Group had to say about it.
We've heard from a lot of people who use the information. And as a market researcher, that's one of the most rewarding things that we can hear. So we know that what we're doing and what we're doing in collaboration with the Glamping Show is helping people, whether it's current operators or prospective operators of glamping business. So that is one of my key takeaways, but also to understand that the market itself, the glamping market, is strong. When some sectors are not seeing growth, they're stagnant or even declining a little bit, we're seeing growth and we're seeing optimism. And optimism, as anyone who measures anything in the economy knows, helps drive the economy. We want people to be optimistic, because when they're optimistic, they're out there, they're innovating, they're doing developments, they're spending money. And that's what we need. It helps the economy, it helps everybody, it helps the industry especially. The other thing is we've seen some increase in costs that people have noted in the research. That's another takeaway, but not really as much as I would have anticipated. So some of those costs, I think, are coming through operationally, through staffing and so on. Additionally, we saw that the biggest reason why people aren't getting their businesses financed is they really need help. They really need help in the planning stages. They're not prepared to go in front of investors and banks to get that financing. So it's a gap that we've kind of seen in the industry as well. And also, one of my takeaways and one of the things I like to reinforce with people is the idea of hospitality, that we are in outdoor hospitality. That last part is important, and to consider, what it is that you're providing, what it is you want to provide, and also find the help that you need, whether it's planning or marketing. I told you I'm not a marketer, but I know that marketing is absolutely necessary, and that these folks need to do that. They need to go out, and it's being recognized more and more, which is very encouraging as well. So, and then the final thing I would say is the idea of doing your due diligence before you do anything else. If you're even thinking about buying land for a development, figure out what you can and cannot do there. Because again, we've seen that as one of the biggest barriers to people being successful with their businesses is, don't plan a development on a property that cannot be developed, and especially cannot be developed the way you want it to be. I think that is a super important consideration that people need to keep in mind as they move forward. I feel like one of the big changes is people's views toward accommodations. The industry itself seems to be innovating quite well, more so than a lot of others. And you're seeing that specific thing to me is going to help keep up with demand, consumer demand, which dovetails to the second specific thing, and that is guest expectations when they arrive. That how you frame what it is you provide, what kind of a provider you are, determines what they're going to expect when you get there. An example I would use is someone that I've interviewed myself was they offer a small yurt development, is what they have. And I asked, I was like, do you provide glamping? And he said, no, because I don't provide any other services. I just provide accommodations. And I thought that was a real interesting insight from someone who's actually doing it. He actually does not like it when people call it glamping, because what he says is, I don't want people showing up here expecting more than what I provide, which I think is very wise, a very wise approach.
So every time I attend the show, I make it a priority to catch up with friends like Steph from Upgrade Publishing, who is responsible for the Glamping Business Americas magazine, the official publication for the show. Having been involved since the show was seeded at the Glamping Summit, this is what she's noticed about this year's show.
I think the thing I've noticed most about this year's show is how many service providers there are growing up around the industry. So banking service, financial service providers, people offering specialist accounting, support, legal. It's so great to see that these other industries have recognized the importance and the uniqueness of this sector. So we're also seeing that the structures are becoming more unique, which can only be good news for the industry and for operators, and that there are more and more cabin-style structures here, or hybrid structures with a sort of mixture of canvas and more solid materials. So it's just getting more interesting to be here generally, because there's so much diversity of product and service on offer. And I think we just got to say that this year we've seen also the rise of the revenue share model, because I've seen that now on 2 or 3 different stands. And I think it's an exciting opportunity for operators to explore expansion in a difficult time, with interest rates. And yeah, they should get on down here and check it out.
So with all the fun at the show, it's impossible not to make new friends. And that's when I met Hayley and her partner from Ozark Mountain Adventure. And she shared her thoughts about her first year attending the show.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And, we traveled about 3 hours in an airplane to be here. We're located in the heart of the United States in Branson, Missouri. Our company is Ozark Mountain Adventure. And we started from the ground up. And so coming to the Glamping Convention today, I really didn't know what to expect, but we are first timers. And I'm telling you, if you are listening today, you need to get here because we have not only spoke to those individuals that are the experts in what they do, from glamping tents to accessories, that what you need. You're getting ideas, you're being inspired by individuals. It's just that recharge that you really need. And then also with that, you're finding common ground with people. And so while you're talking with individuals that are the expert in their industry, I'm turning around and I'm talking with people that are just like me. And they've started from the ground up. And so it is just a fantastic opportunity to build that network of glamping individuals to help your business succeed in a market that is so new. And it's something that I love. I mean, we will be back. Absolutely. And to sit through some of the classes. But today has been so helpful, and I'm really excited about tomorrow too. And it's only 2 days. I don't know how they action-packed it for 2 days, but it's great, and I absolutely love it.
So although this year we have to say farewell to David and Sally, who have grown the Glamping Show Americas to be the incredible annual event it is today, Jessica and Lindsay from Emerald X have now been passed the baton. So I spoke with them to learn a bit more about their connections with the world of glamping and camping and what they have planned for the show and any sneak peeks they might give us into what's on the horizon.
We are the former owners of the Overland Expo event series, and we were actually acquired by Emerald in January of 2023. And we still run that series inside of the Emerald family. So I guess we were introduced to the outdoor hospitality industry by way of the Overland community. And really, Overlanders are very similar to the luxury camping consumer. They have a lot in common, like they're nomads. Really, they're more vehicle-based adventurers. They're building their adventure vehicles to sustain long periods of primitive camping in the backcountry, for example. They also, post-pandemic, we saw a huge rise in people kind of rushing to the Overland community because they had the opportunity to really work from anywhere as long as they had a connection to Wi-Fi. But I know the glamping consumer, that's a really high priority. Being able to work from anywhere and being close to nature is an added benefit, right? We've also, in the Overland community, we've seen an increase in consumer interest in health and relaxation and seeking outdoor experiences for wellness, which is, a common theme with this consumer as well. And then, Overlanders are also really eco-friendly travelers as well. So like glampers, they're looking for sustainable technology like solar panels and EV charging stations to reduce their impact on the environment. So really, like Overland, the luxury camping and outdoor hospitality industry is ripe for growth still post-pandemic here. And we see the Glamping Show really as being central to that movement.
So Jessica and I have been in business together for a long time, even before Overland Expo. But as we moved into that market space, basically right before the pandemic, 2019 was our first year operating the Overland Expo series. We really got to know that community, and clearly outdoor recreation and getting close to outdoors. It's a part of the Overland journey. And I think that it really aligns with the glamping community and kind of staying in these off the grid destinations and being in touch with nature, and really aligns with the same philosophies. So operating that series, and now as it moves into Emerald, we have a lot of key contacts and crossover exhibitors, and even I think some additional crossover attendees that will really enjoy the Glamping Show of Americas moving forward.
What I really loved about what you were both saying there, you referred to Emerald X as the Emerald X family. So tell me a bit about some of the successes and achievements that have happened within this whole sphere of the outdoor exhibition industry. Tell me a bit about that.
Sure. Well, Emerald is one of the largest trade show producers in the country. We operate 142 live events and also 72 content and media properties. So it's a pretty big entity, but it is a family, and we were acquired by Emerald. Overland Expo, the series, and then our team was acquired basically January of 2023. And we operated as a family business, and moving into Emerald, we've been able to keep those core values as we move into the outdoor and sports portfolio. So The events that are in Emerald's portfolio, they span across hospitality and design, which glamping aligns with very well. We also have technology portfolio. We own advertising and marketing events. We have a really robust food portfolio. It's one of my favorite because we own Pizza Expo. And if you've ever been to Pizza Expo, it is like crust on steroids and every kind of different cheese that you possibly could ever imagine on a pizza.
Sarah, it's the one show that everyone at Emerald is like clamoring to go work that
Yes.
show.
I was going to volunteer. Please, can I go?
Yes, it is amazing. I mean, pizza cooking techniques, the contests that go on with it, it's pretty incredible. So, but like I said, what we really span a lot of different portfolios. We also have an industrial portfolio, and then finally the outdoor and sports portfolio, which is where Jessica and I really roll into. One of the other cool things that Emerald launched a few years ago is called Accelerator, and it's a division where the team is dedicated to investing in emerging industries. And actually, Accelerator had researched the luxury glamping and outdoor hospitality industry. They saw a great potential and had developed a trade show concept for launch prior to us finding the Glamping Show of the Americas. And that's when we met David and Sally. So didn't need to launch something when there was something fantastic that was in the space and obviously owned and operated by really great operators.
And so that's, for me, going to be amazing in terms of it being a game-changing journey for people in this industry. It's really going to open up doors. It's going to create new things that people maybe hadn't thought of before. And is this what you feel is going to be the case for how you are aspiring for it to become, this whole journey?
I think so. When Overland Expo was acquired by Emerald, Lindsay mentioned this a little bit, we were a little worried about how our corporate culture, right, inside of our little family business was going to blend with Emerald. And honestly, it's the same as it ever was after 2 full years of being a part of the larger parent company. And we don't feel pain points of like working inside of a corporate entity. We, in the outdoor portfolio, we have a nice little family of operators, and everybody is really passionate about their segment and their industry. And we're just really grateful to be a part of the little outdoor portfolio. Well, it was a little portfolio, and honestly, it's continuing to grow with 5 events in the Overland Expo series next year, and now the new Glamping Show in October of 2025. We're just the little engine that could.
So the outdoor portfolio inside of Emerald, it operates a little differently just because, Overland Expo in general, we operate in kind of off the grid environments and we build a lot of our facilities from scratch. So, from the ground up, which is different than Emerald's traditional trade show business. And so we've learned to kind of work a little more agile. And then on top of that, we have additional shows in the portfolio like Surf Expo, Outdoor Retailer, the collective shows, which are all based in outdoor activity and outdoor recreation. So there's a lot of really great benchmarking across the group. And as Jessica was mentioning, the team and the culture is kind of a scrappy entrepreneurial culture inside of our group, but we get refined and sophisticated when it comes to really the technology stacks and the introduction of all of the assistance that Emerald really provides to us from a trade show operations standpoint. So we're pretty happy about the investment that Emerald has continued to make in the outdoor portfolio.
So in terms of glamping and what you're hoping to bring for the next event and going forward, have you got any sneak peeks of exciting things that you've got on the horizon?
Well, we have a lot of exciting things. We don't want to tell you all the things, Sarah, because we don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. But, historically, the conference program has been primarily serving that entry level glamping operator. And that was just due to the huge growth, the spike in demand for education from aspiring operators, right? But as those operators have become more established, we see an opportunity to really enhance the conference program with more tiers of education, bringing more value to the inquiring glamping operator, the legacy operator, and then really everyone in between. And we're still seeing that tremendous growth. And in fact, in survey data this past month, we just found out that over 50% of our attendees were identifying as being new to the industry and new to the show. So the pipeline is strong, right? It continues to be strong. But We just think that we can further engage attendees with a next level of education, encouraging some return visits after they come to the show and get their basic knowledge about how to be a glamping operator.
From the Emerald perspective, one of the things we found when we were acquired at Overland Expo, we were a small producer. And so we did things a lot of times very manually. Emerald really brought that technology stack and that level of sophistication, which included things like app development, matchmaking on the show floor, lead gen, all of the things that a major trade show company really could provide. And so we do see a great implementation of those services to exhibitors and attendees on site at the shows as we move into 2025 and beyond.
We saw in survey data post-show this year that attendees want more opportunities to network with each other. And so we would like to work to bring more opportunities for connections at the show amongst the attendees, and also enhance lead gen opportunities between exhibitors and attendees. And then really, with over 70 media and content channels that are aligned with event brands at Emerald, we have a tremendous media landscape inside of the parent company. So we think that there's a lot of opportunities to enhance content channels that Glamping Show of Americas already owns and operates. And then also just to grow distribution to a wider audience also.
I think the word there is opportunities, isn't it? That's what we're talking about here, bringing it to the industry, bringing it to individuals, so people understand where they can go next. And it's really opening things up. And so if listeners want to reach out with specific requests, if they want to see something at the next show, or if they have any feedback for you, how do they do that?
So I don't have my Glamping Show email address quite yet, but you can reach me at my Emerald email address, and that's jessica.kirschner. My last name is KIRCHNER at emeraldx.com. I would love to hear from people.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today and for allowing us to understand how this is going to go for the Glamping Show America, and that we should all be incredibly excited about what's to come.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. So having spoken in depth with Jessica and Lindsay from Emerald X, I'm excited about what they have planned, and in a truly grassroots way, they really want your ideas and feedback about what you would like there in the future. So this is really important. Please do get in touch, as it is your opportunity to really influence what you can get access to in the future. So I'll say that email again. It's jessica.kirchner@emeraldx.com. So while I was at the show, I had the opportunity to collect insights from those who are already in the industry, setting up their projects or running them day to day. I wanted to understand what their struggles were and what they might advise their younger selves if they had to start all over again. The thing is, this is really interesting because people have so many different views about what they'd tell themselves if they had to do it all over again. And listening to what works straight from the source is so valuable. And I thank everyone who took part, I really do. So it goes without saying that if you subscribe to the podcast, you'll gain all this valuable advice and all the access to the industry experts and a bit of gossip you won't find anywhere else. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you stay in touch. But in my conversations, a regular topic that kept coming up was about customer churn, and more specifically, how it could be reduced to increase profitability. This is one of the lowest hanging fruits that new businesses can take advantage of to improve their bottom line, and it often gets missed. So first of all, we need to talk about what is customer churn. Well, the churn is the turnover of customers. So this means if you're managing to reduce your churn, you're attracting repeat customers, which is really good. So the commonly quoted average is that it costs 7 times more to sell to a new customer than it is to attract an existing customer to come back. So not only that, but repeat customers spend on average 67% more when they're with you, which often comes down to your relationship that you've built with them and the trust that they have in you. They're much more likely to spend money because of that. So let's explore this concept a little bit more about what customer churn is. It isn't difficult to understand why retaining existing customers is really cost effective, but it is especially relevant in the accommodation and hospitality industry, where guest loyalty directly impacts profitability. Because churn is a measure of a business's loss of guests over a period of time. And it is critical to understand why that might be happening, because it can be a drain on resources and it can also slow down long-term growth. So think about it. If you're always having to go out and find new customers, then you're not going to be able to focus on your business as effectively than if you had repeating customers coming back time and time again. So the question is, have you actually considered the churn of your business before? Well, if you haven't, you're not alone. There's so many people in the hospitality industry that don't even know what churn means. And that's okay. But it's really important to focus on not just how you can get new guests, but how you can keep your existing guests and get them to come back time and time again. The thing is, if you keep focusing on getting new guests, then you will be in a constant loop of spending more to maintain your occupancy levels. And that is a way of stagnating your growth. This is why, if you want your business to scale, focusing on your guest retention and reducing your churn is a much better way of improving your profitability and your future growth. So let's talk about 3 ways you can increase your repeat bookings and reduce churn. So this is what we were talking about at the show, and it's a really great way to improve the profitability of your business. So it's definitely worth the effort. One of the things you can do is to personalize your guest experience. This is definitely a great way to encourage guests to return, because you're making them feel valued, really valued, because you're personalizing their experience. This could include remembering preferences like their dietary restrictions, activities they like to take part in while they're staying with you, or special occasions like birthdays or anniversaries. Small touches such as offering a complimentary service or an upgraded service for loyal guests can really make all the difference between them visiting you again or finding somewhere else to go. Personalization builds emotional loyalty, which means that it makes guests more likely to choose you above your competitors. This is because people buy from an emotional place, and that's an important factor when we're talking about churn. So as soon as someone has got an emotional connection with you, they're much less likely to go elsewhere. So I've seen many businesses do this really well. So let's go through an example. Let's think about Sarah. Do you like what I've done there? So upon check-in, the staff or owner of where Sarah is staying greets her by name and offers her a welcome drink tailored to her preference. She's stayed before, so they know she needs a refreshing herbal tea because she's not a coffee drinker. They've noted this in their online booking software. So she's escorted to her room, which has been preset with lighting, and as it's quite cold, the wood burner is already bringing the room up to temperature. They knew what time she was going to arrive, as they had been chatting through their guest app. They also know what she's interested in seeing while she's there, so they have given her a curated selection of local guides on the table. There's also a lovely surprise with a handwritten note next to the welcome basket with a gorgeous selection of local products that introduce Sarah to what's great about the area and how she can visit some local specialty food producers while she's there. So knowing she has dietary restrictions, they've already included a customized menu of what's available and have recommended a local vegan restaurant that has a particularly good reputation. So the last time Sarah visited, the host noted she had an interest in art, which came up in conversation. They tracked this information through their internal booking platform, and knowing this, the host recommended she visited a local art gallery, which has a particularly interesting exhibition this week. Then, when she was about to leave, Sarah checked out and the host thanked her for her stay and gave her a small gift, a beautifully designed and branded fridge magnet with their property landmark on it. This captured the essence of her visit, and as we all know, the best way to achieve great marketing is to get into your guests' home so they remember you often. How about that? Have you used any of those examples for your business? So another way to reduce churn is to develop a loyalty program. So these are things that supermarkets do incredibly well. And actually, the loyalty programs obviously work because they are everywhere. I don't know about you, but I have a million supermarket cards in my purse. And it shows that a well-designed loyalty program can really help to incentivize repeat bookings. It doesn't have to be complicated though. It could just be as simple as offering points for each booking that guests can redeem for a discount or a free service or some kind of exclusive offer. A tiered program that rewards guests the more they stay with you can also help to grow a sense of achievement and connection with you and what your brand stands for. So, for example, offering a free night's stay after a certain number of bookings or giving VIP treatment to frequent guests can really help to drive customer loyalty, especially when they think they are going to be treated in a certain way because they are a VIP guest. People love it. VIP stands for very important person, and people love to be considered very important. That's why it works. So I'm in the enviable position of having an umbrella view of what's working at the moment in the industry. So I thought I would summarize some of the loyalty schemes I've seen work particularly well. So first of all, we've got the points-based programs. So these are the kind of classic models where guests can earn points for every dollar spent on a stay or dining or other services. And then, of course, those points can be redeemed for free nights or upgrades or other perks. We see this all the time. Then you've got something like a tiered program where each tier unlocks an additional benefit, like a priority check-in or a late check-out or some kind of exclusive access to a certain area in your property. So, of course, people have to go through the loyalty program and earn certain points to be able to move to the next tier, but it means that they are working up through the levels and gain access to different things as they do so. Higher levels often come with significant perks and things like maybe complimentary breakfast or room upgrades or certain personalized services and so on and so forth. They can also have things like a perks-based program, and this is when it's an instant reward. So guests can receive immediate rewards for specific actions, like they can have a discount on dining or a spa treatment or some kind of merchandise that you might be selling with your own brand on it. Or you can give them something for achieving certain milestones. So after they've stayed with you for a certain number of nights, then they're rewarded. These milestone rewards can be amazing and very personalized. So I've known some sites to do personalized perfumes and hand soaps and candles. It's all, of course, branded, but only the people who are in the reward program will actually get these perks. So the other thing I've seen work particularly well in glamping is where there are personalized experiences. So this is when the guest is able to take part in tours or cooking classes or wine tasting or anything else that is on offer at the site. But it's all done based on how often they've stayed, how much money they've spent, and everything else in between, depending on what your rewards program is all about. People love this because it's something that's unexpected, they can book it in advance, and also it's something that they wouldn't maybe normally get involved in. But when it's a very personalized service, they love it. So for example, it might be that you have an amazing cook on your site and those cooks do a personal cooking demonstration for a guest that is a VIP guest and that has managed to earn a great deal of points. And for those businesses that are a little bit more community minded, those guests that have a particular amount of loyalty with your business can get invited to participate in local community initiatives and other programs, which helps them to give back and gives them an amazing experience they wouldn't otherwise have. But it doesn't just have to be things done within your own business. You can actually collaborate with other businesses to provide all kinds of rewards. So these are kind of cross-promotional opportunities, and it can help to expand your rewards program, so it makes it much more valuable. It's really important that you can track the loyalty points easily, and this doesn't become a huge headache for your staff which is something that can happen. Make sure there's something that you can add to your booking software to make it easy for you to track, and also make sure that your guests are regularly notified about how well they are doing in your loyalty program and what other milestones they might be able to achieve next. Another way we were talking about how you can tackle churn is to leverage direct communications and follow-up, similar to what I just mentioned there. So it's all very well to have these schemes in place, but you have to communicate with your guests to make sure that you can incentivize them to move forward. These direct communication follow-ups are super important and can be done via email or text or any other messaging apps that you use for your business. It's one of the most forgotten elements of increasing your repeat guest bookings and reducing your churn. And it can be as simple as sending out a thank you message, asking for feedback, and offering a discount or a special rate for the next time your guest wants to book. It's about keeping your property at the top of their mind at different times of the year, especially if you notice there's a pattern to the times that they like to book with you. So you can stay in touch with them about seasonal promotions, personalized offers, and all kinds of other things that are based on their previous stays, or even simple reminders about up-and-coming holidays, all with the aim of promoting the guests to stay with you again. So by maintaining an open line of communication, you make guests feel connected and special, and it will encourage them to return. But don't forget to speak to them as a guest. They've been before, they've stayed with you before, they've spent money with you before. And so you need to be talking to them as if they are a friend and you want them to come and return again and again and again. So by focusing on guest retention strategies like these, all kinds of accommodation businesses can cut down on their marketing costs, and that means they can increase their repeat bookings and cultivate long-term relationships with their customers, who often start to get to know everyone by their first name. It's a lovely place to be, to have that amazing relationship with your customers. But know that churn will always be a bit of a challenge. It is for every single business. But with the right strategies, you can definitely reduce its impact and increase your bottom line. So what do we have planned for future episodes of this podcast? Well, we want to help you stay in touch with what's happening in the industry in between the annual Glamping Show Americas that happens at the end of September next year. So we have much more to share about how you can plan, build, and maintain your unique hospitality business in this industry. And I cannot wait to share it with you. So from designing simple structures to elaborate tree houses and everything in between, and then making sure you can take the right steps to attracting your guests and keeping them coming back for more. This is where you'll want to be for all of this and more. So please leave a review to share any feedback, and especially to tell us what you want to hear on future episodes. And I'll be back here again on the 1st of each month, and I look forward to you joining me again then. So until then, enjoy building your unique hospitality business. See you soon.